Hello everybody, this is AK. I'm back. So on screen you see my latest CPF statement. Right, this is something that I usually do at the start of a new year, and that's to talk about my CPF savings and what I'm doing to motivate other people to take full advantage of their CPF membership. Right. So just now I did a voluntary contribution to my CPF account, and the money went into the OA and the SA. None of the money went into the MA because my MA has already hit the limit, right? The basic healthcare sum. But even if your special account has already hit the full retirement sum, or in my case exceeded the full retirement sum, if we do voluntary contributions, the money will still get split into OA and SA, right? It's just that if we should be working, if we are still gainfully employed, our mandatory contributions will get split into the OA and the SA, right? Even if the SA has hit or exceeded the full retirement sum, but if the MA has hit the basic healthcare sum, nothing goes into the MA, right? So I did that just now. It's a very small voluntary contribution because it's all that I can spare. Just a few $1,000s. Maybe I'll do some more voluntary contributions next month or in the next quarter before the year ends. But a lot of my money has already been tied up in T-bills and Singapore savings bonds. So a few $1,000s is all I can spare right now. And I have some major expenses coming up, and I've made a video talking about that, which maybe I'll publish later on. Maybe it'll go live after this, tomorrow maybe. Yeah, so in a recent video I say why the interest rates coming down again, and coming down constantly in the next 1.5 years will make the CPF great again, right? Because the SA and the MA they have a floor rate of 4%. Right now it has been adjusted higher to like 4.14%. Yeah, but the floor rate is 4%, so at least we'll get 4%. It's a bit higher now because it's backward looking, right? It's adjusted to account for the higher bond yields in recent past. Okay, so 4% is really not bad. So if we haven't hit the BHS yet in the MediSave account, we might want to think about making a MediSave account top up, right, to hit the current or the prevailing BHS. But like I say, there's only like $8,000. First $8,000 top up will get income tax relief. So for those of us who are still gainfully employed, we might want to just top up $8,000 and not more than that, because we want to benefit from income tax relief, right? So take your time, and one day, you'll hit the BHS, the prevailing BHS, because the BHS, basic healthcare sum, the limit gets increased every year. So it won't be $71,500 next year, for example. Right, you still can do the same thing for the MA, like what we can do for the SA, right? But of course, the SA's limit is the full retirement sum, right? So if we hit the full retirement sum, we can't do top up to the SA, right? And as usual, $8,000 top up per year, you get income tax relief. But this $8,000 income tax relief limit, $8,000 top up to enjoy income tax relief is shared between the SA and the MA, so it's not independent of each other. So you can only top up $8,000 per year to special account and MediSave account. You can mix at $4,000 per account, that kind of thing, right? So it's one way to make our money work harder and save on taxes, right? I think it's quite a good thing, because the money in the MA will help to pay for our shield plan, So you make that 4% per annum, and that 4% per annum interest earned goes to paying for MediShield, right? So the government is helping us to pay for some of those insurance premium. It's not a bad thing, right? Yeah. So I mean, buying Singapore savings bond now just doesn't make sense to me. It's like 2.77% per annum, 10-year average yield. And if I do a voluntary contribution to my account, money goes into OASA, the average is more than 3% per annum. And I can access the money in 2 years' time when I turn 55. And if you look at the Singapore savings bonds, right, if you say we want to take the money out in the next 2 years, right, the interest you earn is only 2.59%. 2.59%, much lower than what I can get from the CPF if I were to take my money out 2 years later when I turn 55, right? It's more than 3%. Those Singapore savings bonds really doesn't make sense for me. It doesn't make sense for anyone who's like maybe 50 or anyone who's above 45 basically, because if you think of CPF as a bond or something that helps you save so that you can take the money out at 55, the CPF will pay more than the Singapore savings bonds easily, right? So for anyone like 45 and above, 45 you're like 10 years away from 55, right? And of course the fixed deposits, the interest rates are falling, like CIMB 6 months fixed deposit offer is like 2.8%. Is no big deal. And T-bill of course is coming down as well. 6 months T-bill, like the last cut off yield 3.1%. I won't be surprised if it goes below 3%. And no, I mean it serves its purpose. To be fair, all these have advantages and disadvantages. I mean, Singapore savings bonds, it pays less, right? 2.77%. In the first 2 years, has 2.59%. In fact, it's first 3 years, 2.59%. But you can apply to take the money out whenever you need it. With CPF, you cannot, right? It's stuck inside until we turn 55, right? So there is that liquidity option, but the trade-off is you get less in return. Now you get less in return anyway. So be very sure that you won't need to touch the money, right? Because CPF is you go in and that's it. It's all the way to 55. And fixed deposit is the same thing. You might get less, but you can break the fixed deposit. T-bill, of course, is stuck there for 6 months, but you can sell the T-bill if you want through an agent, but you might get less money back in return. You also might lose some money, right? So the CPF, SA and MA, good for people who have some kind of idea what they might need when they turn 55. And I am going to have like kind of a big expense, big ticket item that I'm planning to get when I turn 55, but I shan't talk about it here because I've talked about it in the podcast that I did with the fifth person last week. Of course, that's supposed to go live, I think, sometime this week. Maybe it's today or tomorrow or Friday, I don't know. So you might want to listen to that and say, well, oh, why is AK going to have a big expense when he turns 55? Why is he buying? Right. So top up the CPF, SAMA especially, if we haven't hit the limits yet. It's 4% risk-free, volatility-free. And for those of us who are a bit older, and if we have SA and MA have already hit the limit, doing voluntary contributions, not such a bad thing, because it's a short horizon, relatively short horizon, right? Like for me, it's 2 year plus. For people 50, it's like 5 years horizon. 45 is like 10 years horizon. It's like buying a bond, right? And that will help, to fund our retirement when the time comes, right? Additional money, additional pocket money. What's not to like? Oh yeah, before I forget, actually the ordinary account that you see here, $703,000, right? That's not all of my ordinary account money. There's still $65,000 which is stuck in the 6 months T-bill, and that's coming back sometimes next month. So if you put that $65,000 back into the ordinary account, so it's slightly a bit more than what you see on screen now, okay? So just want to put this in to complete the picture. Okay, so if AK can talk to himself, so can you. Bye bye.